Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Shirley Hayes, the founder and CEO of Ship Copper, which will be coming together with Big Tree Copper on the AltX of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange next month. What mines is Ship Copper company operating and developing at the moment?
Hi, Martin. Ship is not operating any mines currently, but Ship has applied for a mining license, which will be granted soon, and then Ship will start developing the shallow underground ore bodies of Rietberg that already has got development in place to the ore bodies. And then once Rietberg has been developed, which will take about 8 months, then Ship will start developing the Jubilee Wheel Julia open pit complexes, where there's a number of open pits that can be developed and that can be developed fairly quickly as well. That is what Ship will concentrate on first.
And why do you see copper as such a good metal to be in, that you're going into this development so vigorously?
It's 10 years later, but the timing is very good now. Martin, the golden question, or shall I say it's the red question. Everyone is talking about copper. It's the energy metal, it's the electrifying metal, it's the metal of the future, the new oil, the new energy metal. But I'm going to leave you with a thought on this question. And it's a two-liner, and it says, the world needs to produce the same amount of copper in the next few decades, equivalent to the same amount collectively mined in the past 5,000 years. I need not to say more. I'm going to leave that with you.
What is the thinking behind Ship and Big Tree Copper coming together on the AltX of the JSE in October?
Big Tree is already in production, and there's a number of synergies in the companies that they do share. It is, Martin, is exciting. It's the birth of a new South African copper giant. It makes sense to combine the two companies, Ship and Big Tree, through a reverse takeover where Ship takes over Big Tree Copper through reversing Ship's assets into Big Tree and changing the name to Copper 360. And Copper 360 will hold the Cape Copper Oxide Company, it will hold the Oakip Copper Company, and obviously it will hold Ship. The combined company will not only own most of the copper district, but will already be in production, have an experienced management team, dedicated and operational workforce, technology, advanced process capability, a balance sheet, a dividend policy with Coronation that's already in place, an offtake agreement. And in short, to summarize, it's a trifecta. We have got, between the companies, we have got scalability, which Ship brings to the table. We have got copper, and then we have got cash flow. We are already in production.
And are you finding an appetite for investment in copper from local investors?
Absolutely, yes, we do. To date, the capital for Big Tree, in which I'm a personal shareholder as well, has come from private high net worth individuals in South Africa. And Martin, every day we are getting phoned by people wanting to know when we will list because they want to invest. So there's no shortage of appetite because we will be offering our only pure copper play in South Africa. Our ore bodies are on surface or shallow. For the case of Big Tree, it requires no mining, so we are on the lowest cash quartile of producers in the world. We have a high margin, and we already have, as a result of Coronation investment in the company and a commitment to Coronation, that we will be paying 30% pre-tax dividend from our profits. We have a fantastic growth profile, and we don't have to go anywhere else. It's all in one area. We own a whole copper district. We have copper, we have got scalability, we have got cash flow. And that's why we're getting interest from people that want to invest in a pure copper play like ourselves, because there is no other.
And what will be the name of the combined entity, and how much capital needs to be raised to realize the targeted 10,000 tons of copper a year by 2026?
The name of the company will be called Copper 360, and it's at 360 degrees. So Big Tree Limited is already a limited company. We'll make use of Big Tree and change that name to Copper 360. And the whole story behind Copper 360 is the holistic 360 view, is how we view the markets, how we view the world, to supply the environment, how we view the stakeholders. So that works very well. The capital we will require will be in the order of 350 million, and that will be to develop the Rietberg mine and plant, and to develop another concentrate plant on the slag on Victory's copper operations at the Cape Copper Oxide in Nababe. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but you must remember that Rietberg has already been pre-developed. All the development is in place, and we are building a very small plant because we are focused on grade, not on tons. And this is a little mine. It will do about 15,000 tons a month, but it will do 5% copper and make a huge margin. So all the infrastructure is in place. The capital is smaller, the risk is smaller from an investment point of view, and the return is much bigger. We will obviously require more capital as we develop the open pits and other operations in the future, but that will largely be funded from debt and from our balance sheet.
And will the copper from these ship mines be locally beneficiated into copper plate by Big Tree Copper? Big Tree Copper produces plate at the moment. Ship will be producing ore. Is that going to be sold as ore, or will it also go through this process of being beneficiated locally?
I think there's two processes that we need to discuss. We need to differentiate the two. When we mine the shallow ore, Martin, the oxidized ore, the oxide ore, we produce copper plate through SXEW, a solvent extraction plant. The plant, however, cannot treat sulfides. For the sulfides, we will build concentrate plants, conc plants, that will produce a concentrate about 35%. That will be sold off. So we basically will have two separate products. We can melt the concentrate copper, but to make a big smelter is an order of 1 billion to 2 billion rand. And we're already getting 90% of LME price for our conc. So it doesn't make sense at this stage.
And if you can just take us through these offtake arrangements, you didn't mention them. You say they're in place. Is it just from one company, or are you looking at more off-takers?
No, we're not. It's just for one company, Martin. We have an offtake agreement with Noble, and we have very, very favorable terms. I'm not at liberty to divulge the terms, but all I can tell you is that they're very favorable terms, and we have a very flexible contract with them.
Any plans to make use of the hot Northern Cape sun to generate your own green energy and produce green copper?
You know, copper makes me smile and the sun makes me smile. Absolutely. We are in the Northern Cape. It's one of those areas where you have strong sunlight for maximum numbers, day hours. So we will definitely be looking at that. And just absolutely, you know, for me personally, that is the one thing that I will personally drive in this company. And that is to make sure that we will generate power off the grid as fast as possible.
Just give me a bit of your background. You're deep into copper here. You're the founder of SHIP. You seem to be born with copper and sun. How did this all come about?
Yes, I was born at Springbok, accidentally, purposely. You know, it's my backyard. It's my backyard. I was mining 100 kilometers north of Springbok, close to the Orange River. I was mining industrial minerals for many, many years, and eventually started to do exploration. I just made enough money from the industrial minerals to put bread on the table and to put aside exploration funding. Yes, and then that journey, the exploration journey, started in 2008. I got my feathers in a row and started to apply for the exploration rights. And it's 10 plus years later, and we have I've developed a cluster mining model on SHIP's area, where there's a lot of ore bodies, Martin, but a lot of those ore bodies they're not viable. But once you have your main ore body and you have your plant, then all of those ore bodies obviously started to become viable, and they are all in the vicinity of 8 kilometers from another. And now, fast forward to listing and start to build Rietberg. So it's the next phase of the journey.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, interviewing Shirley Hayes, the founder and CEO of SHIP Copper, which will be coming together with Big Tree Copper on the AltX of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange next month.